Hello y'all, this is Lauren from Mama's Learning Corner. Appreciate you coming back by my channel today. Today we're talking pumpkins, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do with my pumpkin unit study for my kindergartner. It's going to be really simple. It's not going to require a lot of prep and planning for you, and it'll be really easy. So you can just check out the same books, do the same activities, and your young ones will be so tickled with their pumpkin unit study. So let's get started. Anytime I plan a unit study for preschool through second grade, which is what this is going to be focused towards, it's always really simple. I need things to be really simple in my life. And so they always contain 3 elements in this order. They always contain books. I choose fiction and nonfiction books, anywhere from 2 to 5 books. And there's probably going to be one book called the spine of the study. There's going to be one book that I choose to read every single day. That'll be the most informative book, the most exciting book, the book with the best pictures. I don't know. It varies by unit study. But you're making the unit study, so you get to choose which book is the most exciting. I choose a read aloud if there is one. So that's step number 1, is choose a book. Step number 2 is to choose some type of hands-on or craft activity. So many choices in the pre-K to second grade age range. So I just choose something that would be age appropriate related to the activity. And then third, I choose some type of worksheet, printable, matching, usually something that involves writing, some type of activity that my child can either write or narrate back to me what they have learned. So I'm not necessarily looking for mastery here, but those are always good ways to work on writing skills, grammar skills, spelling, and being able to retell what you know is just an important skill. So that's one good way to practice it. So 3 things only in a unit study. If I have more bandwidth for extra, then I definitely add it. Sometimes I don't though. And it always starts with choosing books. So today's unit study is going to be pumpkin focused. And my kindergartner this is exactly what I'm going to do with him next week. So I'm going to show you step by step how to plan it, and more importantly, what we're going to do. And hopefully it'll give you some ideas too. My first step in planning unit study always starts with the books, because I consider that to be the most important piece of the unit study. So the first one that we are going to read is, and this is the one that we'll read every single day, and it's called Too Many Pumpkins, and it's by Linda White. And we have read this over and over and over for years. It's one of my favorite books ever with my children. We have such good memories of it. With Rebecca Estelle, the main character of the book, we love her. But this is even though it's fiction, it's an excellent look at how pumpkins grow. So that it definitely has a science piece incorporated to it. So we're gonna definitely read this one every single day. And then I just have some other books pulled off my shelf that I'm gonna use pieces of. We're gonna use The Vegetables We Eat by Gail Gibbons, and we'll read the whole thing, but we'll definitely focus on the more pumpkin related pieces, that a pumpkin is a fruit that has seed inside, that kind of thing. And then I love this book, The Year at Maple Hill Farm. We read it every single season, pick out the season that we're on and focus on those few pages. But this is such an excellent book. I love it. And then the other one that we're gonna use is called Pumpkin Moonshine, and it's by Tasha Tudor. And we've read several things of hers in the past. Her illustrations are so simple and beautiful. Actually, I don't think she's the illustrator, but her sentences are very age appropriate. Just a beautiful little simple book. So it arrives from Amazon tomorrow. But that is going to be one we read each day. So Too Many Pumpkins and Pumpkin Moonshine, we'll read those each day, and then we'll just pull pieces from here. So now that I have the books selected, and let me also say, if there's a read aloud, like if you're doing another topic, if there's a read aloud book that would be appropriate, then I always choose that too. My little kindergartner is not quite ready to sit still for a read aloud. He could do a chapter. He's still pretty busy for that, but hopefully soon. But I don't have a read aloud, a pumpkin read aloud that would be good for this study. Okay, so after that, I always choose a hands-on activity. And this year, I think that we are gonna do, I have a set of chalk pastels, and for years and years, I followed You Are an Artist, the chalk pastel website, and so we have several pumpkins that we're going to use from it. And if you're not familiar, chalk pastels are very forgiving for any age. We've done them for years with my big kids too. I mean, it's very step-by-step how to create the art. So that website is You Are an Artist, and I'll link it down at the bottom. But that's the material we're going to use for the chalk pastel, because I'm not super artsy. I'm crafty, but I'm not really artsy. So we're going to use that for some help, and I think he'll love that. He's never done that before, so I think he'll love it. The next thing we're going to do is more science related, and I've got several cooking pumpkins, some that are larger, and this is like one of the more medium to small ones. So we are going to measure it. We're going to talk about circumference and measure that, and also talk about and weigh it, and then find some other things that he thinks might be a similar weight to that. So really it's just experimenting and understanding that things are measured by weight and height, circumference. It's just really introductory into that. And then we're going to cook it. So I'm going to show him how to cook a pumpkin. We're going to cut it in half, of course, look at the seeds inside and the pulp, and then cook it in the oven, and then see what it looks like afterwards. And I'm going to let him taste it. He's not going to be tickled because, pumpkin by itself is usually just kind of fair. But that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to doing that. So my main components with a unit study are almost always very simple, and there's 3 of them. The first one is choosing the books that I want to use. The second one is choosing a hands-on activity. And then the third one is going to be some type of written or oral feedback, some type of work to show me that you know what you understand what we've talked about, what we've read, what we've learned. So these are 2 things that I'm going to use that I created for my big kids, and you can find them on my website. I'll link them down below. The first one is a pumpkin life cycle booklet. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this, and you can see that there's only picture prompts on the inside. So there's 2 ways. One, we can go through each page, and he can just tell me verbally what is happening on each page of the little booklet. How does he know what's going to happen? We're going to read it in our books this week. Another thing you can do is, and I say these things because my boy isn't ready to write to this degree yet. Another thing you can do if you have a child that's not quite writing well yet, is for him to dictate sentences to you and you write them down. And then that's a really good way to model writing a sentence. Starts with a capital letter, ends with a period. You can go through the words in the sentence that he dictated to you and point out ones that he could easily read. And then at the very last page of this booklet is pumpkin words that I know. And so I'll have him dictate some of those to me, and I'll write them down, and we'll talk about the spelling of them probably a little bit. I usually try and incorporate some type of spelling and vocabulary with every unit study. We write them on a piece of paper. We talk about why they're spelled the way they are. We talk about their meaning, of course, if those are unknown. But again, my 5-year-old is just barely reading CVC words. So that's a little bit too advanced for him. Before a 1st and 2nd grader, that's absolutely what I would do. So we would use the words like pumpkin, ribs, shell, tendril, pulp, those types of things. And then we would make sure that we know how to spell those and why they're spelled the way they are. So it's an easy way to incorporate phonics. The other activity portion or writing or narration portion that we're going to use is a pumpkin worksheet packet I have on my site. Several of the things in that packet are a little bit too old for him. We're just going to set those aside and just leave them for next year. But he can do many of the other activities. This one is writing the word pumpkin, tracing it, and then writing it yourself. That would be a lot of writing for him, actually. But we're gonna work on that. Another one that he could do is filling in numbers. He's a numbers kid, so he really enjoys numbers. This will be easy for him and like a game. This other one is a crack the code that uses numbers, and then I'll help him read it after he fills it in completely. This one is pumpkin facts. So there's the sum here at the top, and then he has to determine which of those addition facts match. The sum is 12. So which one of those addition facts match this? That's just a little fun page, but he loves a dot to dot, so that'll be fun for him. And then the last one, he'll cut these out. I'll help him identify what the word says, and then he'll take them or glue them in the appropriate place, on the label on the appropriate place. So, and then there's several other things in that packet that he can use that are for him on his reading level. But there's also a few things that are too much for him. They have blends like CH or SH. There's a section that focuses on that. There's a few math items are a little too hard for him. So we'll just tuck that away for next year. So if I have any extras to add at all to a unit study, I try and add a field trip. I don't always, I mean, just every once in a while is that is there an opportunity for that? But there is with pumpkins. So there's an opportunity to go to the pumpkin patch and actually pick your own pumpkins. Our church often sells them as a fundraiser. So they're just in a big field and you just go pick them up and pay for them. But even a trip to Walmart to pick out pumpkins there would be, just a change of pace and something exciting. So anytime I can work in a field trip, I like to, but a lot of unit studies just don't lend themselves to that. So that's just an extra add-on we're gonna do. So this unit study will probably take us just a week. I only have it planned for 5 days, enough activities for 5 days. So we'll read always the Too Many Pumpkins book. We will read that every single day. And then we'll do an activity like with the measuring the pumpkins. That'll be one day. The next day we'll read the book. We'll read the pieces that I want to read out of Maple Hill Farm. We'll probably do a couple of packets out of my worksheet packet together. But we do those together. He's not old enough for me to hand him activities and him just implement that. He's just not old enough for that yet. So everything will be right by my side. The third day we'll read Too Many Pumpkins again. We'll probably read the portions out of The Vegetables We Eat by Gail Gibbons. And then that'll be the same day that we do the life cycle packet. The fourth day will be book and a few more pages out of the worksheet packet, the labeling page, probably some of the math pages. The fifth day, we're probably gonna read the book again and cook my pie pumpkin. That'll take the whole morning and that'll be interesting. He sees me cook all the time, but he's never seen me cook a pumpkin. So I'm probably gonna have my big girls come down too and let me show them how to do that. I try and look for little cooking opportunities, little homemaking opportunities at every chance I get to show them how to do things. Okay, so that's it. That is going to be a really simple unit study for my kindergarten boy. Keep in mind that he's at the earlier end of kindergarten, not really writing and reading much at all yet, despite consistent work at it. He's just not that far along yet. So my activities are obviously geared more towards a younger kindergartner. I have a couple of videos I'll link below to show you how to do an expanded writing activity. It applies to any topic you want to do. And it's perfect for first to second and even third graders. So that's a good one to tuck away that you can pull out for any topic. I'll link it down below. If you're interested in more unit study ideas, I only have a million. So I'll be happy to record them and then show you the things that either we've done in the past or we're getting ready to do in our school. And you can take those ideas and just run with them yourself. I appreciate you watching today. Thank you. If you have comments or suggestions or ideas for your own pumpkin unit study, please leave it down below so the rest of us can read it and see if it would be a good fit for us too. Okay, thank y'all. See you soon.